And
Oh,
this topic, the topic of the jinn, is the nexus point of all three. The topic of the jinn brings science, it brings mythology and religion all into one space.
wow.
And
Wow.
this is why it's such an important topic today, because we have people who are coming out from these programs in America, whistleblowing and saying that actually there is another creature on this planet with us. And they've alluded to the fact that modern technology, I mean, I've got like in front of me, actually, you can't see it, but it's my computer, camera, I've got a microphone. 99% of the technology I've got in front of me is based on silicon chip. And these people who are whistleblowing, they're saying that the silicon chip is something that we found. And it was part of a retrieved item that crash landed, many years ago in the, the early 20th century.
What do you mean by whistleblowing?
Sorry?
Whistleblowing, what do you
So something, okay. To tell the story, I'll just briefly go over it. Allegedly, there's different stories, right? But I'll just keep the main one, because the history of ufology or UFOs is quite is still developing, new information coming out and so on and so forth.
Right.
But what happened was, apparently, allegedly, according to some sources from inside the American government, what happened was during the World War II, they were working on the Manhattan Project. The Manhattan Project was the nuclear weapons project to create the atom bomb, which is what they dropped in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Okay. These weapons, obviously, we see the power and what they did and how long that effect had on those people. But during that project, they were testing these weapons on the bedrock in places like Utah. What happened was, there's two reports. Some say that they detonated a bomb and something fell out of the sky. So an object came crashing down from the sky. The other claim is that apparently the Americans had created a sort of antenna, a new type of antenna that was using like radar, some sort of new radar system, where they were pointing it in the sky, trying to monitor the skies and have some sort of defense mechanism created so they could tell when planes or bombs are coming into the area. Yeah. So whichever story it is, either a detonation or some sort of radar system, it affected this thing in the sky and it crash landed. And it was reported in a Roswell newspaper. Some people have got the clipping. You can find it online. But it's the famous Roswell crash. And according to the story, there wasn't just one crash. There was, over a period of a few days, there was a number of crashes. Whatever caused the crash, whether the bombs or the new radar systems, these things crash landed, and the Americans recovered these technologies that fell from the sky. Initially, the report was put out, it was ET. An ET craft had crash landed, and they had retrieved an anomalous craft. But then a few days go by and they changed the narrative and they said it was just a weather balloon. But put that to the side. What a colonel, his name's Colonel Corso, what he said happened was they retrieved these materials and they didn't entirely understand what it was that they had. So it's kind of like us, let's say we go to one of these tribes in maybe the Amazon or in Southeast or Polynesia, somewhere like that haven't had contact with mankind, and we were to drop, let's say, a television or a camera, for example, they're not going to really understand what it is they've got in their hand. And he said it was kind of like that. We had something crash land and we didn't fully understand what it was. So they took it and they shared some of the things that they found in there, the technology, if you want to call it that, with some of the big, tech companies of the time, the most advanced tech companies. So if I remember correctly, Hughes was one of them. Hughes, I think nowadays, they've changed and been bought over and whatever. They've ended up becoming, I think, what is now today, I forgot the name of that company, the big aerospace company, but a lot of it were given to aerospace and technology companies at the time. Marconi was one of them as well, which I think is now part of BAE Systems. So different technology companies were handed out pieces of material, and they were told that whoever successfully reverse engineers this first will be able to lay claim to it as a pattern, right? And that's what this colonel said. Colonel Corso, he was part of the project, or he claimed to be part of the project, and he wrote a book called A Day After Roswell. So anyone who wants to go read it can read it. But this technology, allegedly, what we have today is based on things that we found or crash landed, in the 1940s. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But
Wow.
we as Muslims, we don't have a problem with it, because we know that if it was from another creature, the jinn, we know that Allah describes them as builders. And we do have some evidence, especially from the time of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, to suggest that they had very exotic technologies in the time of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah. So, we don't have a problem with that being the reality. But what it leads to, Akhi, is that, this type of information is kept very secure and has been for many years. We've had leaks, but it never really takes hold. It never really, permeates the public, because the government will just outright deny that it's true. And then the whistleblower, he's popular for a few minutes and then he just dies off. But I think this time around, Akhi, in modern times, we've got too many whistleblowers. We've got too many people reporting that there is a crash retrieval program based out of America, and they have locations in, Americans have bases all over the world, but they have a crash retrieval, let's say, capability, a global crash retrieval capability. There's reports that Russia have retrieved crashed artifacts. There's reports that China have retrieved crashed artifacts. Everyone wants to get their hands on this technology. So